All right. Welcome back to Some Dude and AI, where we're going to be building in public. Still doing the recording stuff there. Eventually, I plan on doing live building. But yeah, so basically, we just wanted to continue building our website and building out web apps on the site. So we were working on the NFL lab last time, and I think we'll continue work there. But I wanted to do a little bit of polish and housekeeping type stuff first, real quick. Um, so I want to make sure that when the site is shared, like via like somebody shares the link on their phone, they text it to somebody else, that a little pop up is coming up to kind of preview the website, and then make sure that our little logo is like on the tabs, or like when you Google search it is popping up. So we'll build those out first. So let's reach out to Codex, and I do hope everybody's doing well and learning a ton. Codex, I just started the show. How are you doing? Yep. So we're actually filming right now. So the countdowns for when we come back from when you've been building, but no worries. That confusion's my fault. Okay. So again, we're in the Some Dude and AI repo, and we're working on somedudeandai.com. I already have the website up in the Codex browser, just for your info. And I was wanting to work on a little bit of website polish before we go back into building the NFL app. Well, I'm just some dude, so I could be using the wrong terminology. So please correct me if I am, because I'm definitely not a dev, an engineer, a tester, or anything like that. I'm just making stuff up as I go, and you're doing your best to keep up with me. But what I was wanting to work on was some sharing type stuff and internet search type stuff improvements. So first is social sharing. When somebody texts the link, via SMS, or shares it via like Facebook Messenger or some other way, a lot of times websites will have a little preview that pop up. I want to make sure this website has that. With our website theme and everything like that. Uh, saying, yeah, highlighting some dude in AI. And then the second part is, and I think that's a social share icon. I could be wrong. And then if I'm remembering right, the favicon is the little like logo or icon that's at the top of a browser tab, or on the left hand of like a Google search result, indicating kind of just giving a little flair to that. So I want to update that too. Yeah, and so while you're checking those, and I don't think there's anything there yet, at least not that I'm seeing, um, make sure that you're definitely using, um, you're tasking this stuff or delegating out to other sessions, and that they're using subagents as needed, and that you're continuing to check until you're um, 95% confident I'll be happy with the results. And I am picky, so no shortcuts. Cool. Now, just a little bit more detail on the favicon for the tab. Let's use the same one we're using for the coffee company, which is the SD. So you might want to go into the coffee company repo and look at that. So that'll be your easy button. Okay. And make sure you're being talkative and tell us what's going on, as we are recording a show. Okay. Perfect. So this all should be pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and pause while Codex is building everything out, and we will come back and show the results. All right, Codex. So you were just giving me an update. So it could take this stuff a little bit to show up. I know you're still working on it, but because it has to run through Google and some other stuff, so it might be a few days before both are fully live. Is that correct? Sounds good. And then, oh, go ahead. Okay. So, yeah, continue working on that task. Just let us know when it's done. But and we'll check back in a few days on a different show to see what it looks like when it's been updated. But yeah, let's continue on work with this site. So I'm going to go into our NFL lab. Okay. So I'm just kind of refreshing here. And so we had our season predictor where you can do kind of a win-loss total type thing. And that was pretty straightforward. And that worked fairly well. But where we wanted to do a little bit of work was in the division realignment. Now, the basic concept is here, but there's some improvements I can definitely feel that are needed. And a part of this is my fault because I did not give probably the most precise or best prompt, but you did good with what I gave you. Now, I kind of foresee this as a drag and drop thing versus, having to select the division and then select the team and like click the reorder button. I'd like this to be a little bit more interactive where you can drag a team and move it and drop it into a new division, or you can move teams and out of the divisions and drop them into like a holding bucket or a holding area to where they're unassigned, or even clear all divisions to where all the teams go to that holding bucket, maybe underneath the map, if that makes sense. And so that way you can drag and drop and place things. So it's a little bit more fun and interactive that way. And then the other update I wanted to do is the map of the United States is just straight up AI slop. It is, I don't, yeah, it's funky. So you definitely have to take a look at this, but it definitely does not represent or look like the United States. And I do like how you have the team names of where they're currently at, the cities and stuff. So let's make those are geographically accurate when the map's accurate. And then as far as like the borders, like each division we were trying to make like an area or border, and the way you've got it is they're kind of overlapping and things like that, and I don't feel that they should be able to overlap. I think that's part of the game is we want to make clean divisions the best we can. And I've and the borders shouldn't go outside of the map either. So think of it like the old game Civilizations, like how those borders would grow to each other and kind of merge, and you'd have like the border would be a color on one side for one area and a color on another side for another area, if I'm describing that correctly. And it would just fill out within the map of the United States versus these kind of funky straight line geometry things that you got going on here. What are your thoughts on that? For sure. Yeah. Yeah, precisely. And I mean, just think of like the if we were going to like break up the United States into different um the divisions would be like different states, and so they would have borders that would fit within there. Um, if that helps. Yeah. And the overlap thing, like I realized that while people are playing around, some of those might overlap a little bit. So I guess that's okay, but it should just look a lot better than the way it looks now. Yep, for sure. And then and just for clarification, like once the divisions have been fully rebuilt, there really shouldn't be any open space in the United States. Like it should draw the divisions and like um, portion off, parts of the United States for each division that where those teams are at. Perfect. And then let's go with some really, let's make sure that each division has its own color and that the colors are vastly different from each other. Like, for example, right now you have AFC South and AFC West are both orange, just one's a darker orange and the other one's lighter. And so it's just too close. And like the NFC East and NFC North are kind of gray. Let's make sure each division has got its own kind of bright type color, so it's really easy to see the regions once a new division's made. Yep. Now, also, what we should add to this that makes it a little bit more dynamic is the ability to share your map in new divisions. So, like, if somebody came on here and used this and be like, "This is how I think the NFL should be," they should be able to share it to like their Facebook or TikTok or wherever. So I'm not sure how you want to go about that, but whatever kind of meets that KISS principle, which is keep it simple, stupid. Sounds good. And then let's make sure that we do have our website and branding within the image that's being shared. Um, and it could just be the little SD like the favicon if you want, but we should definitely have some dude in ai.com at like the bottom or the top or something along those lines, so that way when somebody sees the map they know where it came from. Or if there's a way that you can make it to where when they do share it, it builds a little post or something for them that could kind of redirect back towards us. Not sure if that takes it to a whole nother level. Perfect. Okay. So while you're planning those tasks out, make sure that you're having separate sessions and using sub agents to get all that done. Just let me know when those tasks are ready, And I would like to move on to something else when you have a moment. Okay. So this NFL lab is turning into a little bit bigger project than initially. You get working on something and ideas just start flowing. And so I think that we really want to add this NFL lab to our Open the Billboard, which was going to be a tool to kind of, plan out exactly what we're going to do and kind of show where everything's at. So knowing everything you do about NFL lab, can you populate the billboard on that? And then I do want to add some future plans to it because there's another piece of the lab that I would like to build onto. Yep. And so let's, part of the plan, and I don't know if we'll work on it on this episode or not, but part of the plan is I want to be able to make a custom power rankings for the NFL 32 teams where people can pick the metrics that are important to them, and maybe it's a drag and drop type thing or some sort of filter or something like that. We'll have to do a little bit of brainstorming on that, but I want to do a custom power rankings that people can build out their own power rankings of what they think about stuff, and then they can be able to share that too. Did I lose you, Codex? Okay, perfect. Um, and I think maybe we'll do one more thing, which can be kind of be an offshoot of the. This one be a little bit more complex, and I think it would be a little bit more. I think it would something we wouldn't want to incorporate with the whole season, but at a certain point in the season, like one of the things that's kind of cool is to see like as the season progresses and you're watching the standings, it's all about like, hey, like is my team going to make the playoffs? If it ended right now, where would they be in the playoffs or would they be out? Like how many games behind are they? And like that. And so something that can kind of keep up with that and they like um people can try to populate the playoffs with how they think it's going to go. I'm not sure if we'll do this yet right now. This is kind of just brainstorming, but maybe some sort of season and playoff predictor too. Yep. Yep. And then my final module, and who knows, there might be more, but the final one that's on my mind right now that should be in the NFL lab is I want to do a like how we did our MLB Kalshi watch list. I want to do a very similar thing with the NFL to where you can use the tool to help you find matchups that might give you favorable positions on the, um, when placing a prediction position in Kalshi. So, but we'll have to be really careful with that because that's definitely um, an educational thing, and we'll have to kind of cover our butts and stuff like that because if somebody loses money, they lose money on it. Like our tool is just what it is. It's something that you and I make up, and who knows how good it really is. But I think it'd be kind of cool, and I'd like to use it as the season goes and fine tune it. Correct. Yep. We're just going to give them tailored information is the best way to put it. and they have to decide whether they should use it or not. All right. So I think that's it for like the NFL thing. So we'll build this out over the next couple sessions. I'm going to let you get to work on all of this. I'll pause the recording for a little bit and check back with you here after a bit. One. Well, sorry for the silence here. She was supposed to have a briefing ready on where we're at with everything. So, but we're back and we're okay. Yeah, go ahead and take the lead. Tell us what's been completed and where we're at. Hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah, that looks much, much better. Um, yeah, we'll have to play with this a little bit. So, um, now is this map dynamic to where it's automatically going to change the second I move a team? Or like if I were to clear it all, um, and then slowly add teams and divisions, would the map like slowly build out here as we go? But yeah, that's looking pretty good. So let's see. Didn't mean to cut her off, but yeah, so we can clear all, and we can reset to the official. And so you can see how the system's broken here. Like, not necessarily like what GPT did, but like the division alignments. Like, look at the orange. Like, how is this one, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, I know we got some long established like rivalries going on in the NFL, and this would break some of that up. But I really do think that if it was regional, like your division was regional, it would mean so much more. So it just doesn't make sense to me. But that's just me. Um, but yeah, so like the whole goal of this is we can clear it out, and like say I wanted to, like I feel like we should have like a West Coast division. So we could maybe, and like maybe we should be able to rename the divisions as well to help them make better sense. Like if we wanted to make a Pacific division, we would pick San Francisco, we would pick Seattle, and where's our Los Angeles teams? Here's the Chargers and Rams. And I know I threw them in the AFC East, but like, yeah, that would make, and see the map didn't adjust. Okay, so we're going to do some work here. Let me get Codex back up and going. Let me move my deal to over here. Minimize it a little bit more. Oh, what's going on with video chat? Or voice chat, I should say. Okay, Codex, I was just hold up. You can stop. So I just found out for myself just by playing with it a little bit. So it looks much better, and the map is definitely accurate. The cities look like they're in the accurate spots. I don't see any outliers, so that's good. Now I want that, like right now, like if I were to start populating a division after clearing off the whole map, it doesn't automatically start drawing like a regional border around the teams that I start throwing into a division. Like it should like draw as we add teams. It looks like you have to complete the whole entire NFL and all the divisions to get the map to populate. So we got to get that fixed. And then while you're at it, I want to be able to rename the conference or the divisions as well. Yep. And so you can leave the AFC and NFC parts, but like as far as like the East, North, South, and West, I would like the ability to rename it. Not that I will, but I would like the ability. So if you can spin those up in a separate session with subagents, please, and then double check the work. But that's looking a lot better. Oh, we got our share too, or download. That's cool. So it looks like we have to have a finished product to share it. You doing okay, Codex? It's acting a little buggy. I started this video yesterday and didn't have time to finish it till today. I think something's wrong with voice. I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. Oh yeah, look, it's ChatGPT not responding. Codex, do I have you back? Oh. Okay, I'm going to fire Codex back up. Oh, it's thinking. It's working on that stuff. And then there was some weird noise that just happened. So I don't know what just happened there. But yeah, much, much better. So we'll let Codex work on this, and then I'll come back with those fixes and we'll test it out. Hey, Codex, I know you're still working on the football lab stuff. So while you're doing that, let's do some oh, no, I didn't say to check on it. I think you're a little off today, but anyway, I want to do is basically I want to work on other projects at the same time. Whew. You don't have to check. Wait until I finish talking and give you instructions. It's going to be one of those AI days. Okay. So, yeah. Yes, I got it. I got it. Let me do the talking. Just listen up for a moment here. You don't need to respond until I finish giving instructions. So, and remember that I am trying to make a video with this too. So just keep things kind of clear, plain, and just respond back to me when I ask you a question or give you very specific instructions, please. Okay? Okay. So in the build board, our subpage there, I like how you've organized our active improvements, and right now we have the NFL lab in there. This the main title here where you said it says active project index, that can be like the main header, and then that title, the main title below it, the other active builds, that can go away. And then everything below the NFL lab and the active improvements, like you see the right now and landing page foundation, no build plan published yet, why this exists. all that can just go away. It's just unorganized and it just doesn't make sense quickly. I like the way you did the NFL lab, the way it says active improvements. It shows we're actively working on it. And then if we were to put an exact plan, like say it's something big that we wanted to plan out, we could fit the plan within, you know, the like what you did within the NFL lab. It's probably about as clear as mud. Ask me any follow-up questions just in case for clarity, please. Just want to keep things simple. Perfect. And then, um, yeah, and then make sure that anytime that you get done working on something that requires a change to the um, build board, that it's done. So if something changes, it needs to be reflected here in the build board, whether it's what we're planning on doing or something that you actually built, yada yada yada. Perfect. Gotcha. And then let's spin up another task while you're working on that, as well as the NFL lab. All right. I think Codex is having a day today. I don't know what's going on, but every once in a while, you get days where it's like you feel like you're unstoppable, like you're in God mode building stuff, and then there's other days where you're just pounding your head on the desk over and over trying to get things to work right. And like part of it, like I think that like some of it is like compute and like how much is being used, and I'm just guessing. I really don't know on any of this stuff, but like the data centers with like, and I had the same issues with Claude. Like some days, like using Claude Code or just regular Claude, it's like you're invincible, and other days you just want to like strangle Claude like he's Bart Simpson and you're Homer, and it just, yeah, it's just a little bit of a roller coaster. And I think a lot of it is like updates, bugs. I think a lot of it is usage. I think that when there's a lot of people using systems, um, that can be part of it. One thing, I don't know if we could build it, but one thing it'd be kind of cool is kind of building a tracker for like this, so that we can figure out like when the optimum time is to use this stuff. So when you're doing something important, you're getting the best of whatever tool you're trying to use. That would be cool. So again, see, like I don't even know what's going on. What's up with that noise? Something's happening somewhere. Um, but yeah, so right now we got it working on our NFL lab, doing some updates there and updating the build board. And then I also wanted, because like Whisperflow is a referral, but I've also got a handful of other referrals that if folks were interested, they could use and get a little back for themselves and then hook me up at the same time. So I was wanting to build like a referral sub page, and referrals would take you there, and then you can click on whatever you're interested in on the referral sub page, and it would take you to the correct information, maybe within a pop-up or something like that. So that's the next thing I was going to have it work on. But if you noticed up in the top corner, really really hard to see, we got our SD, so we got our favicon there. So I'm curious. Let's try this.
Sorry, something went wrong.
Oh, my Alexa device is going off. See, I'm just having a day. Let me see if I can find the mute button on this bad boy. There we go. So let's do browser. Let's just do Google. And so this is the browser within Codex, which makes it really, really nice. I actually, at first it was a little awkward, but it's nice that I can pull up and use it as a regular browser, but Codex can pull it up and use it as a regular browser, and you can actually have Codex show you stuff via this. So here's our Google search. Man, we might be taxing the heck out of my computers here. So I know I'm all over the place, probably too much coffee, but I'm doing this all off of a laptop that I bought to help me get through school and run a nonprofit back in 2019. So, it's just an older Lenovo, nothing high end or high speed or anything. So it shows you don't need like the best equipment to do this. Although I do want to upgrade equipment, like I do want to get some sort of mini PC to actually do the streams and build from, and then use my laptop for more of the business management and communication side of it. But obviously AI heavy on both, and eventually replace that laptop too. So the problem is right now buying a new computer is super expensive. But anyway, now we're off track a little bit. So what I wanted to do was see if this favicon showed up in our Google search. So let's do some dude and AI. Building in public, yeah, that's my website, but the favicon is not there yet. It could take a little bit of time to come up. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that took us to our site. So it's live up in the tabs here. We'll give it another day or two, and if it doesn't show up on the Google search, like I said, it could take a little bit of time to index that. And we haven't done any of our SEO or GEO, which is our internet search stuff, for either normal browser searches or AI searches for us to really be found easily. So that's something we're going to have to add to the list to do. But let's get back here. And I got a feeling she's got a lot going on. She's got 2 different sessions she's working on. But I want to try to give her that referral thing, and we'll start working on that as well. So we'll get 3 things cooking at once. And if my computer blows up, I guess it'll push me to get a new one sooner. But most of this should be done due to the cloud. I actually think that my video on here is the biggest constraint in recording. But yeah, and I'm using, what am I using to record? I'm using the Microsoft tool. It's Microsoft Clipchamp is what I'm using here. So it's a free to use tool, so you don't have to pay for anything when you're a smaller YouTuber. I might eventually upgrade to something a little bit better when we actually start streaming, but for now this will do. All right, let's see if we can get Codex back online. See, something definitely going on. I forgot to turn my lights back on. There we go. Oof. Codex is not wanting to play. Okay. I'll tell you what, we'll let Codex just run these 2 tasks. And see, it didn't even like rename these chats, which is unusual too. So our quality of work coming back on this might be pretty crappy. So let's just, we'll stop the video here. We'll let things finish up as far as building, and then I'll come back, we'll inspect the work, and in the meantime, I'm going to go to OpenAI's website and see if there's any known issues happening. All right. So I went to ChatGPT's. Let me copy this browser into our Codex browser. So, and Claude has one that's very, very similar, and you can actually subscribe to updates and you'll get email and alerted anytime that there's issues. And I did that with Claude, but my email is getting blown up. So I'm not going to do that with OpenAI, but just realize when things aren't working right, it might not be something to do with you. So let me open up another browser and we'll do this. So status.openai.com. And I just got this saved on my favorites bar on my Chrome browser. But yeah, we're currently experiencing issues, elevated errors affecting ChatGPT conversations, which we experienced that firsthand, ongoing for about an hour. Yeah. So it says they've applied the mitigation. So the fix is in. Now they're monitoring the recovery. So we'll just give it a little bit of time to work itself out and we'll kind of go from there. I'm probably thinking I'm going to stop those 2 sessions that are working over here for now and wait until we know Codex is running right. So that way I'm not just nilly-willy wasting usage on a product that might suck. So we're essentially going to do a do-over. And you can stop. There we go. And so I'll test it to see that, OpenAI and Codex is working great. And then I'm more than confident once it is that it'll be able to pick up where we stopped and double check the work that's already been done. And we'll continue moving forward, building out these projects. So we'll pause the recording here and it'll be like magic. And I'll be right back in like a second when everything's working, even though it's not that long in my time. All right. So definitely had some hiccups previously, but I think OpenAI has got everything figured out and working a little bit better. At least I hope so. Codex, are you able to hear me? Awesome. So we are recording again, and it looks like you got one of the NFL tasks done. The other one's still working that I could see. So we'll wait before we go over that stuff. But I wanted to give you another task to work on in the meantime. Okay, so I want to make one of our to be determined spots, and we can actually, I take that back. Let's take our whisper flow action button on the main table on the home screen and turn that into a referral button. And that'll take us to a subpage, which will have a listing of our referrals and maybe some brief descriptions of it. And they can click on the buttons in the referrals on that subpage which will allow a pop-up to come up of all the information for that referral piece. For example, you would click on the referral button, go to the referral subpage, and then if you wanted to look at the Whisperflow referral, you would click on it and there would be a pop-up that would contain all the information needed and links needed for that referral for folks to be able to use it. Yeah, let's make sure that you're using a different session and subagents to do that, and make sure that you have a loop to where they're double checking their work and catching any mistakes and smoke testing everything. Yep. And then Whisperflow is the current referral I have, but I want to add 2 others. I'll have to get the information, but maybe you can do placeholders for now. One will be for the Go Mining app, and the other one is going to be for the Terramine game, which is a mobile game. Perfect. And then, yeah, I think that'll be it for now. So go ahead and work on that task. And I'll keep a watch for when you finish up with the NFL task, and then we'll check back in with you. Okay, so we're back and recording for this video. Still got some NFL work in progress stuff um, going, but I was just having a little bit of a chat with Codex, and I was like, hey, I should have probably been doing this on the recording because this is good information, like on how I brainstorm a little bit. But I basically told Codex, hey, don't build anything, don't start anything. This is just a back and forth. Let's brainstorm a little bit and do some research. Because I was thinking about our NFL lab and thinking about our website as a whole. And for the most part, the tools that we've been building so far are just coded tools, and there's no AI backend or AI like that needs to be used every time that it's working on something. That being said, when we get to more advanced tools, oh, look at that. We just had there we go. That was interesting. I'm gonna have to watch for that bug again. So, but when we get to the further part of our NFL lab that we're going to build, and then eventually our Major League Baseball lab, when it comes to the NFL matchup research, like we're going to build our Kalshi watch list for the NFL games for this upcoming season. That's actually going to use OpenAI. So ChatGPT 5.6 is actually going to go, oh, we might use a lesser model, maybe 5.4 or 5.5 is going to go using our API credits and pull that information every single time that we request it to build out those matchups. And so each one of those pulls does cost some credits. I can't subsidize that for y'all. So we were just talking that eventually we're going to have some sort of a premium or pro or plus, whatever fancy terminology, meaning that, hey, some of these tools are going to be fairly dynamic and I'm not going to be able to subsidize them. So we can put in to where maybe you get a little bit of allotment of credits just to kind of test it and see if you like it. And then if it's something you like and want to continue to use, give you a way to purchase those credits so you can continue to use the tool. And then I'll take just a small itty bitty portion off the top, and we'll keep everything very, very open and transparent as much as we can. Because I think that's important. Like everything feels like it's a scam these days, and I don't want this place to be a scam. We're some dude and we're trying to get by day to day without getting scammed ourselves. So that's just the way I feel about that. So that is definitely going to have to be added to our lists of things to do. So I was talking with Codex, and we kind of agreed that the simplest approach, like I follow that KISS principle on when I try to do most of this, is that we would build a like a pro login. Maybe we'll call it pro. I don't know what we'll call it yet. Well, maybe we'll call it the dudes login. Who knows? But we'll call it something. And you'll sign in, but we're not going to collect usernames and passwords. I don't want to do that. I don't want to collect that kind of data or information in case I get hacked, because I'm just some dude and I'm probably not all that great at security. So even with Codex, there's a lot to learn. So we'll let Google handle that, and maybe we'll put a Google sign-in authorization here to where you can sign into that account, and then you can get access to your free credits monthly, and then if you wanted more credits you can purchase them. We'll link our Stripe stuff to here, and then we'll use Supabase as one of those tools I talked about in a previous video to facilitate, our backend logins with Google. So basically, you'll, like any other mainstream site, you'll use Google to verify who you are and log into this site. Now, if you're just coming on to use some of the free tools, like the two we just built, like the season predictor and division realignment, those are just coded out things. Doesn't cost us much at all to provide those, so we're not going to charge for that. So we'll try to keep as much as we can free too. But anything that is going to use some AI, we're definitely going to charge. Did I have that about right, Codex? Excuse me. Yeah. So, but I'm always about trying to find the best ways to do things and keep things reasonable and simple. I don't want to overcomplicate things. So, if we come across a better way of doing things, we'll take a look. But I think that's a good plan moving forward for the site. All right. So can we get a check-in, Codex? How are things going with our work on our NFL lab? Perfect. Perfect. So, tell you what, I will pause our recording here, and then once that's live, we'll test it ourselves and have some fun with it. All right. So Codex finished up um, with our division realignment little web game app, whatever you want to call it. So let's have some fun with it. Um, I cleared out all the divisions and everything. So all the teams are unassigned, and we can rename the divisions and we can reorganize this as we want. I want to do everything geographically. I'm going to break up some of these old pairings, break up some of these old rivalries, and I think the rivalries will be even stronger if they're geographic. Heck, it'll save the NFL and some travel expenses too, probably. But yeah, so let's do that. So we'll work our way around the map. I've kind of got an idea what I want to do, but we'll take it. I don't know if we'll do one. We'll start with a division and kind of go from there. But it's nice we can kind of see where everybody's spread out. But let's start with here in the West. Let's start with our California teams. So I see 3 California teams. Now, there's 4 teams per division. So we could lump the 3 California and the 1 Vegas into one division. But then Seattle's way out here. Denver, Arizona would be another one. But man, that's a massive area. I don't know. Or do we just go like Pacific and we line up these guys and then we do like more of a West lineup? Let's do the Pacific. So we had, let's rename a team. So let's do, we'll just take the NFC West and we'll rename that. Let's see here. We'll rename that to Pacific. So it's the NFC Pacific, if I can spell. No judging, please. Okay. And then, so we said Seattle, San Francisco, and the 2 Los Angeles teams. So here's Seattle. So we just drag. Oh, yeah. And NFL Pacific. Look, see how it started coloring out the map for that area? This is pretty cool. San Francisco, let's see how it updates the map. Yep, the area expanded, and now let's get the other two California teams. And this is in alphabetical order based on the city. So here's the Chargers and the Rams. Okay, so we have an NFC Pacific. So, all right. Now, like if you look at the next group here, I would say Las Vegas, Arizona, Dallas, and Denver could be like a AFC West. So let's do that. So we could just leave that as West. So we said Arizona. And like put your feedback in. Like, how would you do this? And like, you know what? You could come on and do it yourself, download it, and post in the chat the way you would organize it. Show off what you think. So Arizona, let's add Las Vegas. Here it is. Oh, come on. There we go. Denver and Dallas. The two Ds. Denver always destroys the Cowgirls. And I don't know why that's popping up. Let's see. And here's Dallas. So there's our AFC West division. Looking good, looking good. So Florida's got 3 teams. Let's start a division within Florida and see how we go. So we'll just keep that AFC South. Actually, yeah, we can keep it AFC South because it's not all Florida teams. I was gonna say if there's a 4th team, we can call it AFC Florida. But let's see here. So we got the Jags, and let's do the Bucks and the Dolphins. So that hit Florida here. Now we kind of got this sliver or offshoot here. I don't know if that's the best route. We can add New Orleans, but then Houston's kind of on an island by itself out here. I don't like that. So maybe we remove Jacksonville, and maybe they can go more of an east thing. And we put on Houston. Or we could drop Dallas back in the queue and throw KC in here. Let's do that and see how it changes. Boom. And Kansas City, here you are. Of course, we're going to add back Kansas City for the Broncos to crush. Yeah. So now we've got 3 here. Yeah, let's do that. So now let's do like an NFC South because we're doing an AFC South. So we're going to do Dallas, Houston, and New Orleans for sure. Here's New Orleans. And we got Dallas. Oh, when I put it back, it didn't go back in alphabetical order. That's okay. Not a big deal. Dallas, now Houston. Now, if we were being really picky, we'd fix that as a little bug. But this is a free little fun app. So, where's the Texans? Am I going crazy? Here we go. Okay. So now we're definitely getting a cleaner break. So I'm thinking, let's add, thinking we had Carolina to Florida and Atlanta to the south. So let's find Carolina. We're going to add that to AFC South, and let's see how that pops around. We do. And there might be better pairings. Like, I'd love to see your ideas of what it should be. That does seem to make a little bit of sense. And so look at this batch of teams we got here. I think we should do, I think the NFC North is pretty much going to stay the same. So we got really no changes there. That's probably like one one of the most realistically aligned divisions, if you ask me, so far. Lions, Packers, and here's the Vikings and the Bears. There we go. Cool. Now let's do this. We should probably do a northeast, or we can just do, yeah, let's do an AFC East. Well, I want to rename it Northeast because that's what it is. And obviously, New England and Buffalo, I want to throw in that batch. So, boom. And, sorry, just had a little brain fart there. Where'd the Bills go? Are the Bills missing? Oh, no, we already added them. Jeez, I'm going crazy. So it's Patriots we're looking for. All right. And then I'm thinking the two New York teams. Let's do the Jets and Giants. Really, it's like New Jersey teams. There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. So now we have kind of a little bit like, I think we do Pittsburgh this way for, let's do AFC Central. Let's see. There we go. And that's going to be Indy, Cincy, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh. Okay, so it leaves us one remaining. Oh, did I throw? We don't want that being. Why do we got? I think that's a glitch. I think it covered Cleveland. We didn't touch Cleveland, did we? Or is that Cincinnati? Pittsburgh. Oh, this is Pittsburgh here. Oh, gotcha. Like it's just the label. So it's the Browns. Let's swap out the Browns and Pittsburgh. Let's see how that fits. Much better. And that leaves us one geographical area. So finally, we got Pittsburgh, Washington, Philly, and Baltimore. I don't know. What do you think? So I think it would help out TV ratings too, because anytime you're playing division, you're most likely going to be in your time zone. Not always. These two kind of cover a lot of geography, east and west, but I don't know. That's what I think. Go ahead and play with the tool. Let's see if we can actually download this. Download complete. Cool. So I'll probably post that somewhere. And can I share this like on Facebook or something? Let's see what the share feature does. I haven't checked these yet, so we might have to do some stuff. Outload you. Yuck. Those options all suck. We're going to have to work on that. It should be social media. We'll work on that. So that's something here. So let's talk to Codex real quick. Fire Codex back up. Oh, we got to cancel this. And Codex, are you home? Try again. See, I think it's still having issues. And it's still working on some stuff in the background for me. But yeah. Hey, Codex. So pretty happy with the map overall. You know, and I got a couple things. One of them I was going to do, but now that we have got multiple things to fix within the division realignment game or app tool, whatever we're going to call it. So one is when we put a team, like so I for example, I put Houston into a division, then I changed my mind and I dropped them back into the unassigned bucket. But when I dropped them back into the unassigned bucket, it just dropped them to the bottom versus actually ordering them alphabetical. So it keeps it clean and easy to find. Could I need that fixed? And then also, I went to share it, and the sharing options are horrible. I want the mainstream social media apps used when it like as options to share it. So maybe they should be like, you know, Messenger, Facebook Messenger, text messaging, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the regulars. I think that that's probably a better sharing suit. Yep. Let me know when those fixes are applied, and yeah, and I'll probably end this episode right here, and we'll double check that work on our next installment, and then start working on some power rankings or something like that, possibly. And we'll probably also start working on our pro features or whatever we're going to call that. Yep. So sorry, I'm just wrapping up the video, so hang tight. You don't need to respond. And yeah, so we'll work on our pro video features and stuff like that next video. But while I have you, before I let you all go get yourself some coffee. Some Dude's Coffee Shop is open. Go get yourself a single origin. My favorite so far is the Ethiopian. And if you really like it, come back and get a cup. But there is a discount, so if you buy the brew, you get 10% off on any associated merch with it. So you can get your Ethiopian tin sign, or you can get your Ethiopian mug at a discount if you really want to show off what brew. And this is a good one. I really like. I've never had a bad Ethiopian single source, but definitely a good coffee. And I actually need to upload my take on this, so there's always something more to do. But anyway, you all be safe and take care, and we'll talk to you next time.